Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Fantasy Fullback Dive, brought to you by the good people at the Roto Street Journal, acting as your lead blocker to fantasy glory, paving the way to fantasy excellence, making all your football-related fantasies come true, hopefully. I'm your host, Nat the Truth Jones. Do not adjust your set. This is not the Wolf of Roto Street with me. This is CJay himself. The Wolf of Roto Street, and I don't want anybody to get panicked about this, is actually in the hospital right now. The word across the media is that it is an appendectomy, which I'm sure is code for some sort of horrible STD. But he will be joining us, hopefully, in a call. He says he's sharing a room with a bunch of guys, so we'll see. Hopefully, they're fantasy football fans. He's supposedly going to be calling us in. Don't panic. He's going to be out soon. He wanted to even be on this show, but he's going to be in the hospital at least overnight. CJay, how you doing? This is our first time doing a pod together.
I know we've been on a few times, but this is our first one together alone. Usually Wolf's here with us, but doing good. Best wishes out to Wolf.
Definitely.
Our the Roto Street GoFundMe is open tonight. Me and Nat will definitely be pocketing it.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
Don't tell Wolf that. If all donations, we need to hit $5,000 for the Wolf tonight.
Right. We will only skim what we absolutely need off the top. Anyway, we got a Thursday night football game.
Run this for 10 seconds. 1 second.
Okay. We got a banger of a Thursday night football game. And I don't want to oversell this too much, but let me just throw some names out for you, people. Elway, Montana. Manning, Brady. Mahomes, Josh Allen. Jacoby Brissett, Mitch Trubisky. That's what we're looking at tonight, folks. We're looking at a veritable clash of the Titans between Mitch Trubisky and Jacoby Brissett. That's right. Thursday night football could not be any sexier. Thank you, Amazon Prime. How was your Amazon stream last week, by the way? How'd that treat you?
Honestly, I loved it. I don't even think I have like the top tier internet. I heard so many people bitching on Twitter. I listened to the radio. Listening to the radio the next day. It's all these like old people probably like dial up or something. Oh, I can't see anything. The picture was unbelievable. Like I had no issues with it. I love Kirk Herbstreit too. So that always also made me happy.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for this AFC North grudge match?
Outside of the clear pitcher and Herbstreit, probably a 1.5.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. Wolf's interested to see, is Najee Harris finally going to wake up? He's got him in his running back 14. What are your thoughts on Najee Harris? Is he a must play this week in your opinion? No,
I mean, I kind of had the same point on Sunday where he doesn't look healthy. His offensive line sucks. There's really nothing about him that I like right now, or probably the rest of the season. I know we faded him hard in the beginning of the year, and that's going to continue. His props, we're going to talk about those later, but 64.5 rushing yards, down.
Yeah, I agree. It seems like he's good for a solid like 2.5 yards, 2 to 2.5 yards every time he gets a carry. The news, we usually have a lot of news because we've had two really sexy Thursday night football games leading into this. This one, not as, like I said, Trubisky, Brissett. It's not exactly going to be getting anybody too excited. We have two pieces of news. Here's the example of how much towards the bottom of the barrel we had to scrape to get anything to say about this game. The Athletic's Mark Cobley believes George Pickens has been, quote, nothing more than a decoy on one of the worst passing teams in the NFL through 2 weeks, unquote. That's his take. Well, yeah, anybody who's seen any games, A, yes, they're one of the worst passing teams in the NFL. And B, Pickens hasn't done anything. He's run 62 routes, vertical releases out of 74 total routes. He's done essentially nothing. He was a very sexy name coming into the season, obviously, and he has not impressed at all. Do you think there's any hope for Pickens moving forward, at least this season?
I do. Actually, it was such a funny quote he said today. I think it was today or yesterday. He, typical receiver, though. I've been open 99% of the times I've ran a route.
Constant. That's not enough, though.
No, definitely
it's not enough. And the last piece of news we had, Ian Rappaport, and I love these quotes. These are always the ones I call the wolf out for putting. He reports there have been, and this is a quote, no conversations as of now, unquote, about benching Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, I had to add that right before we went on.
That was solid. That's right in my wheelhouse. Not really much to say about that. They have not been talking about Mitch Trubisky at all. Let's get into our predictions for the game. Pittsburgh going against Cleveland. The spread is 4.5 in favor of Cleveland. Over under at 38. And we throw in the bleed because everything. Who do you like as far as the spread? Who would your money line pick be? I'm assuming it would probably be Cleveland. And what do you think of this over-under, which is, it looks juicy, but is it really?
No, honestly, I think with a line like this, a lot of people would play the over. I'd go with the under here.
Me too.
I could see like a 21-10, 17-10, something like that. But I do like Cleveland to cover and win. Well, obviously win. But.
All right, fair enough. I feel the same way. I don't have any respect for this Pittsburgh team. I don't really have much respect for this Cleveland team, but here we are. That by the way, do you think that loss to the Jets is one of the worst losses that you've ever seen in your life?
100%.
Okay.
And I was actually looking at some props today. And I can't believe Flacco threw 4 touchdowns and no interceptions. I had red zone on, so I knew he was balling out, but I didn't know the actual stat line. I was expecting an interception or 2, nothing.
I feel like I heard somewhere who the top 3 scoring quarterbacks were last week, and it was like Tua, somebody else you would never expect in a million years, and Flacco. And I can't remember who.
That's the NFL's leading passing yardage. It's I think it's Wentz, Tua.
Yeah, it was Wentz. Wentz was the other guy.
Tua, Flacco.
Yeah, the trifecta. You would not have called that at the beginning of the year. Real quick, before we get into the rest of the show, we're going to talk about some of CJ's best Thursday Night Football props. Then we're going to talk about fantasy news of the week. Then we'll hit the mailbag. I do want to read an ad from our presenting sponsor, No House Advantage. No House Advantage is changing the game by offering the most dynamic fantasy sports platform available today. By the way, legal in Massachusetts now, which is awesome. I know the Wolf has been all over this thing. Yeah. Play and pick 'em contest versus other people for the shot at winning $250,000 plus in cash. Download the app, choose a contest, select your player props, earn points for correct picks, climb the leaderboard for your shot to win big money. That's in caps every day. You can also test your skills versus the house and 20x your entry if you hit all your picks. That's not nothing. Also, the Wolf had told me that a lot of these contests have not been super, super full. So that does nothing but increase your odds. Get in there if you are interested in either $250,000 or 20xing your entry, both of which interest me an awful lot. You can bet on up to 5-player prop over-unders or individual player matchups across every single sports league, including NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA, MMA, and NASCAR. Sign up now with promo code RSJ at nohouseadvantage.com or download the app on the app stores to get a first deposit match of up to $25. Make sure to check out No House Advantage today. Experience daily fantasy sports redefined because it's not just how you play, but also where you play. You will not want to miss out on this. No House Advantage. Check them out. Tell them we sent you. All right.
Yeah. So actually, as you were just saying, I actually just put an entry in like their big contest that has over, I think, 25,000 prizes, and there's like 100 and I think there was 170 people in it. So I like my chances to win 10,000 tonight.
That would be super. I would really enjoy that just for you and RSJ if you were to win $10,000 doing pretty much anything, whether it's on No House Advantage or not. Good luck. All right. So I've actually seen on Roto Street Journal website, by the way, guys, if you have not already given us a like or a subscribe or a love or whatever, please do that right now. I was told by the guy I'm hosting with right now that we're like 6,000 clicks away from hitting 1 million views on the website for the month. That is pretty freaking awesome. Mm-hmm. One of those clicks was me earlier today looking at your Thursday Night Football props. So I know you got a few things to say about those. What are the ones you like the most going into this matchup, which if you don't throw the props in is kind of forgettable. So make this exciting for me.
Yeah, exactly. It gives us something to do tonight. So yeah, as we talked about earlier, Najee Harris actually under 62.5 rushing yards. I mean, every single week it hasn't changed, and I'm just going to keep betting the under. He hasn't gone. The Browns haven't a lot of rusher for over 50 yards, and that includes Christian McCaffrey, who only got 33 yards against them. Harris has done absolutely nothing. He's gained 72 yards this entire season on 25 carries. There's something about him I just can't do right now. His line is just terrible. He just looks slow. His foot is hurt. His ankle's hurt. Everything about
But everyone's like the usage
yeah.
though.
Exactly. The usage is everything just isn't good right now. There's nothing that's good about him. And then Jacoby Brissett to just throw 1 touchdown pass. I'm fine with that. I mean, he's no gunslinger, but he's had 61 pass attempts. He's had 2 touchdown passes. I was actually surprised. He threw over 30 times last week and threw, I think, over 25 times the first game. And then Amari Cooper over 3.5 receptions. He was targeted 10 times last week, caught 9 of those, and he's been targeted 16 times in the first 2 weeks.
That kind of seems like easy money.
Yeah, I expected it to be at least like 4.5, but if you can get 4, we win the bet. So that's all that matters.
Cool.
And then some others that I also like. How do you feel about Nick Chubb tonight?
I feel like he's probably a pretty good bet to score a touchdown. I would guess on yards. What's the over-under on yards?
90.5.
I mean, I'd probably go under.
Yeah, so I had the under there. That's the only one I was kind of sketchy about. And then Donovan Peoples-Jones, he's had 2.5 receptions. Week 1, he went over 5. Last week he had a goose egg, but I think they'll go back to him after last week. Claypool's set at 4.5 receptions. I like the under there. Trubisky, unlike Brissett, who's only 0.5. Trubisky's under 1.5 touchdown passes, so I like that. And also, he doesn't really throw a ton of picks, but I was kind of interested in his over.
Isn't he like the only guy in the world not to have like thrown a pick 6 or something?
Yeah,
Didn't we discuss that at one point? But again, I want to repeat, there have been no conversations as of now about benching him.
Yeah, that's probably why he's never thrown a pick 6.
Right.
And then Najee Harris over 23.5 receiving yards. So
I like that
involved in the passing game. Yeah, it seemed pretty low to me. But yeah, that's
all right. Those are Thursday night props from CJ. If you go to RSJ, RotoStreetJournal.com, there's an article that basically sums up most of what he just said there. If you want to play this back or you didn't catch everything the first time, but I like almost all of those, maybe even like all of them. We're going to get into week 3 fantasy news, get into quarterbacks. We're going to kick this back and forth. I'm going to start out with Justin Herbert. We all saw him last Thursday taking a pretty serious knockdown, hurt his ribs. They said he fractured his rib cartilage, which I did not even know was a thing. It shows I'm not a doctor. I didn't know you could fracture cartilage, but I'm pretty sure that's what they said the injury was. Yeah. He's day-to-day. He was able to throw normally Tuesday. He did participate in individual drills at Wednesday's practice, and they say he will be under center for week 3 against the Jags as a QB1, and I'm sure he is extremely high on the Wolves rankings, maybe like, I know the Wolves rankings has like 6 guys in the top tier. I agree with all of them, except he has Kyler at number 6, which I don't agree with. I don't think he belongs in the same tier as those guys. And since the Wolf's not here to defend his take, I'm just going to shit all over it. Anyway, I'm hearing some stuff about Zach Wilson. What have you heard?
Things I don't want to hear. Well, actually, wait, but one thing I do want.
What's the things you don't want to hear from Zach Wilson?
That we actually.
And your mom like disappeared around the corner together.
But head coach Robert Saleh did say as soon as the doctors clear him, we will get him on the field. And I actually saw some tweets this week that he could be in position to start week 4 against the Steelers next week. So it looks like the Flacco era could be over. It could be the last week with him and Garrett Wilson.
It's too bad. It was pretty exciting.
It was.
Well,
I didn't. I don't know. Just do you buy Zach Wilson?
No. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to seeing him coming back, and I'll bet a lot of those guys aren't either. Alvin Kamara, he's been dealing with a ribs injury. He did practice on Wednesday. I'm assuming he also practiced on Thursday because of that news. I got to say, Kamara to me has been one of the most disappointing players yet. I know 1 week he was injured, did nothing the first week. Do you think that Kamara is? I mean, do you think he's like on the downgrade? Like, do you think this is going to end up being a bounce back rest of the season for him? I'm concerned about him. What do you think?
Yeah, he's another one that had this like rib issue. Now ribs are just contagious now.
Right.
no more COVID. No
rib cartilage.
So I still like Kamara. I would buy him low if I could. I still have hopes for him. He's still talented. I think he just had a shitty week 1 and then got hurt and sat out week 2. I'm fine with him the rest of the season.
Okay, good. I have him on both of my teams, so I'm very happy to hear that. James Conner returned to practice on Wednesday and Thursday. He saw some reps, in both of those practice sessions. We were talking a lot about Darrell Williams, Benjamin. Are you expecting to see a full workload for Conner, or you think it's going to be kind of a committee situation this week?
I feel like it. I mean, if he's basically full on Thursday, I think you're kind of good to go there. It seems like he would get the majority of the carries, maybe less passing down work to Benjamin, but I think the Darrell Williams thing is over for the week.
Oh, too bad. That was fun while it lasted. Lenny Fournette, who I was very, very impressed with in week 1, not as impressed in week 2, although the guy's out there all the time. I mean, he's like out there for like 90% of the snaps or whatever. He's one of the few true bell cows in the NFL, which I did not 100% see coming going into the year, but I do love his usage. He was limited in Wednesday's practice. He was back also Thursday. I don't know. Do you know if he was limited or not, or if he was a full participant? It definitely seems like he's set to play in week 3.
Let me see. Today he is. Let me see.
And if he plays, he's obviously a must start.
Fournette was limited again on Thursday's practice.
Right. But you think he's a no-brainer starter, right?
Yeah, it sounds like he's good to go. I mean, that whole, I know we're going to touch on the receiver soon.
Yes, we are.
Do they even have enough players to practice?
I don't know. Anybody who's like a former NFL receiver, maybe recently out of the NFL, or maybe even not recently, maybe like Terrell Owens or something like that, maybe could snag a spot on the Bucs in the next couple of weeks because they got nobody. We'll get to that in a second. Another headline I really love, Texans coach Lovie Smith, and I love almost everything about this guy, just copy-wise. I don't think he's a very good football coach, but he said that Dameon Pierce, quote-unquote, finishes plays and gives, quote-unquote, extra effort. So
he's such an ultimate throwback football coach that just doesn't really give you anything, but just hits those buzzwords.
No, you're not. The newspaper boys in the 1920s are not going to be like holding up their newspaper, shouting out copy that Lovie Smith gave you. That's not going to happen. Pierce, what have been your thoughts about him the first 2 weeks? I mean, nobody was a hotter name coming into the season. Are you super disappointed? Are you not that surprised?
I don't want to pump my tires, but Wolf was all about him week 1, and I was very against him week 1. It wasn't that I thought Burkhead was anything special, obviously, my twin, but I didn't buy it right away. And then last week he did have 15 carries, so it looks like he's actually kind of backing up what he's saying. So I like him going forward, but I think the offense is whatever, and I don't know if he's going to have a great game scripts the rest of the way.
Don't get too excited.
I don't really care about him that much, honestly.
Temper your expectations. Yeah, he went really high in all my auction leagues. I mean, like ridiculously high. Like where I was like, oh, maybe if he's $4 or $5, I'll snag him. He was going for like 25. Deandre Swift, ankle injury. He practiced on Thursday. Looks like it's going to be a limited session Thursday, coming off the Wednesday day off that he had. He's actually been pretty impressive and one of these guys that's just sneaky putting up fantasy points in an offense that's all of a sudden kind of good in Detroit. How do you like Swift this week?
I love that team. Their offense is good. I kind of want them to win the division. I think they honestly could if they get it.
Don't you just love Amon-Ra St. Brown so much? I know we're
he's incredible.
supposed to be talking about DeAndre Swift, but I have ADD, so
it seems like it's this year's Cooper Kupp. But yeah, Swift. I mean, seems once again like they're just. I think he's on one of those plans now where he's just not going to practice on Wednesday. Everyone's going to freak out, and then he'll be fine, and he'll turn on red zone. He'll be running for 50 yards.
You know what's hilarious about people using the phrase like you just did this year's Cooper Kupp? You know who's really this year's Cooper Kupp? Cooper Kupp. The guy has been freaking incredible. We keep trying to replace him, and he's just like every time someone has a great game, oh man, this year's Cooper Kupp. Meanwhile, Cooper Kupp's like, 12 catches, 100.
Yeah, no one even. It's like
every week, no one even gives a shit.
Exactly, it's like old Christian McCaffrey, where you just. Like I don't even care that he scores 30 points anymore. I'm just like, oh, okay.
No, you're numb.
Another 33.
You're numb to it. Speaking of Christian McCaffrey, he was limited in practice on Thursday. I mean, this is the first line of the copy I'm reading. Being a McCaffrey manager has proven exhausting already in 2022, as he has had surprise injury report additions in both week 1 and week 3. I don't own any of them, but I completely agree with that.
I took him at 2 overall in my hometown league, and I hate it.
The Wolf spent a king's ransom on him in his auction league, didn't he?
Yeah, and he wasn't even really talking about him much in the preseason. Yeah, he sends me his roster, and he
didn't even want him. And then you come. I had that happen to me with CeeDee Lamb. I didn't want him at all, and then I just ended up with him on my team somehow, and I don't even know what happened. I hadn't even had like that much to drink, and all of a sudden I was like, "What
40% of your auction dollars gone."
Right, and he's on my bench literally. I'm not even playing him. Anyway, hopefully McCaffrey will be back, but it's like, he went for a decent chunk of his career in college and pros never being hurt at all. And now he's just constantly hurt, or there's a threat of him being hurt.
He could touch the ball like 30, 35 times a game, just insane usage. And now every week it's something else.
And his receiving is like pedestrian now. It's like 4 catches, 26 yards.
Something like that. It's so average again. It's terrible.
All right, let's get into wide receivers and let's talk about the aforementioned Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is like massacre. I don't even know how else to describe
I kind of like the Packers one a little bit more.
Okay, all right. Well, that's next up. So we'll hit these. We'll see which one we think is more catastrophic. First of all, the NFL upheld its 1-game suspension for Mike Evans. I remember I texted you guys, said Mike Evans just hit somebody, and you were like, "Yeah, it was Lattimore. We called that on the show." So
we were talking about that before the show. He was kind of saying, "Oh, he's a top 10 receiver this week," and I was like, "I don't know. Lattimore kind of shuts him down." And he goes, "Well, he may just get thrown out in like the first and second half, anyways." It's like, yeah,
well,
probably.
I mean, basically, he's sticking up for Tom Brady. Brady was running his mouth, and Lattimore came back.
I don't know. He was sticking up for him, but that was like his moment. Like he was waiting for something to happen where there was like some sort of drawing, and that was
I think you might be right about that. Don't you think when my suspicion is that when he comes back, Brady is going to have appreciated that, whether it was disingenuous or not, and is going to really force feed him the ball. So,
oh yeah, I agree.
I could see that happening. Chris Godwin, hamstring issue. We already saw this coming. He did not practice Thursday, but also Julio Jones did not practice on Thursday. He had a knee issue. Ever since returning, hurting his hamstring in week 1, the team suggested Godwin would be missing at least a few games. So we're not that shocked of him that he's out. The Bucs also will probably end up leaning on Rashard Perriman, Scotty Miller, Russell Gage, although Russell Gage not 100% either. He was definitely on the injury report, at least on Wednesday. They signed Cole Beasley to the practice squad earlier in the week, which really validates what I said earlier, saying if you're a formerly departed NFL receiver, you could get a job. What do you think about this receiving corps, if you could call it that?
I mean, how mad is Julian Edelman that Cole Beasley got the call before him?
Oh, I know. Seriously. And Wes Welker, too. Probably pretty upset.
Exactly. Troy Brown. And, yeah. It's an absolute disaster. I was very surprised that Wolf still has him at 10. Has Tom Brady at 10 for his quarterbacks. I don't know if he's going to bump him down, but then I was looking below him and there's not much I would put above him. So I don't know if he's
right.
Where would you have him around the same spot? What do you think about Tom this week?
I agree actually with your assessment, which is that when I saw it, I was like, that's ridiculous. He's not throwing to anybody. But then as I looked at the spots directly below, I don't remember who was directly below him off the top of my head right now.
Probably like the Carson Wentz group.
Yeah, maybe Carson Wentz. Yeah. I don't know. Carson Wentz, such a great example. I said this on the pod last time I was on. It was such a great example of a good fantasy player, but a bad actual football player. He's been putting up serious fantasy numbers. Let's talk about the Packers wide receivers. This was your vote for worst receiving core. Allen Lazard downgraded to DMP. Allen Lazard, just all of a sudden made of glass. He did not practice on Thursday. Sammy Watkins, Christian Watson also did not practice. And it's all hamstrings here. There's just who's catching balls this week for Green Bay?
And I think Randall Cobb missed today with an illness.
Oh, yeah, Randall Cobb also out.
So it could be Romeo Doubs. Finally.
And
hopefully.
And that's it. Like he's the only one out there running routes, just wide receiver sets.
I'm trying to think if anyone else is on the roster, and I can't think of anyone.
I mean, the real answer is...
No, he's on... I was going to say Jake Kumaro, but I think he's on the Bills.
The real answer is probably Aaron Jones.
That's
going to be catching some balls. So anyway, not looking great for the Packers. The Packers, don't they just kind of seem like a mediocre team to you?
Yeah, that's why I think it's ripe for the Lions this year. I honestly think that. I don't think it's a bad bet. I don't know.
The Vikings too.
Off my head, but
Vikings too.
As long as they stay out of prime time, they'll be okay.
They look, God, Kirk Cousins. Man, I do love that matchup though that we're looking at this week for the Lions. All right, other wide receivers. Jacoby Myers did not practice Wednesday. Honestly, this is a day old. I don't know if he practiced today or not.
No, he didn't.
He didn't? Okay. Well, then this is current. So we'll take that for whatever it's worth. Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy. This is another guy with some great quotes, although this is not a quote. He just suggested Michael Gallup would be on a pitch count in week 3 against the Giants. So we're actually going to see him. He says, I don't want to see Michael playing 70 plays in the game. It's his first game back. That's the type of insight you can expect from Mike McCarthy. Who's the worst coach in the NFL? The Denver guy?
I mean, I think that guy's brain is broken. Like it's insane. I cannot believe. Like even on Red Zone when you're not really watching every single play, they're just obviously going to like the important ones. Like what is going on? It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm watching it. I'm just like, what the fuck is happening?
More importantly than that, it's about the fastest I've seen someone fall from grace that everyone was blowing this guy up. Like just like, oh, this guy
Yeah.
He's the guy. He's gonna turn Denver around. Personally, I didn't buy it. I mean, I picked on our AFC West preview show. I picked Denver to finish last, and
I like them to win the AFC West
at the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
but that was before you knew that like Nathaniel Hackett had suffered like a traumatic brain injury, right?
Yeah.
Like if you had known that going in, like you wouldn't have liked.
If I knew he was going to be settling for 65-yard field goals and wasting like a minute off the clock,
doesn't Wilson look just like maybe a little washed?
Yeah, I mean, and I do love on Twitter Richard Sherman and someone else from that defense just loving it. They hate Russ so much, and they just keep making fun of everything he does. So
yeah, it's tough to like Russ. Hunter Renfrow, he suffered a concussion. He didn't practice on Wednesday. He's been a real letdown, huh?
Yeah, he's on my dynasty team, and I'm tanking anyway, so I don't really care. But yeah, I'm very surprised. I mean, you'd expect that he would flourish in this offense, and he's done the complete opposite.
Yeah, he's another
guy.
Also,
Carr, I liked Carr a lot last year, and Carr's taken a huge step back.
Derek Carr? Yeah, he looks like he almost doesn't know how to play football. I picked them to finish third in this division. Right now, the 1 through 4, I feel very good about. He makes a couple good throws here and there, but then he misses guys by a mile. And he used to be, I was always thought of him as a very accurate passer. He threw behind Waller on a play that was really important. He missed Devontae Adams on a play where he was wide open. And that was, when I said to you that loss that the Browns suffered to the Jets is one of the worst losses I've ever seen. It actually might not even been the worst loss of that week.
That's very true.
Because that loss, I texted you at halftime, and I was just talking about how terrible the Cardinals were. And, right on cue, they scored 31 unanswered points.
How about that play when Kyler just ran around for 20 seconds straight?
How about when they got 9 shots from the 2? And it's you give a team 9 shots from the 2-yard line, they're going to convert on one eventually.
Weird stuff happens on those West Coast games.
Yeah, that was nuts. So actually, that might not even been the worst loss of the week. Keenan Allen participated in individual drills at Wednesday's practice. He's suffering from a hamstring issue. Donald Parham also with a hamstring issue going on. I am not sure. What do you think? Do you think we're going to see Keenan in week 3? I kind of don't.
I was just looking that up. Let me see if we got an update for today. He just remained limited for Thursday's practice, so we'll have to see tomorrow if he does get a full session, but it doesn't look like he's going to return this week at this time.
Someone who is 100% confident, Gabe Daddy Davis, dealing with an ankle issue. He's confident he will be returning for Sunday's game against the Dolphins. Let me just say, Gabe is awesome. And he had a great week 1 and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. When we talked about, the Bills are going to have a 1A and 1B receiver, Diggs and Davis. Diggs might just be different.
he just won, and then that's it. He's incredible, and obviously he had that huge season 2 years ago, and didn't fall off last year. I had him last year, and I wasn't.
No, he was really good.
Yeah,
he was really good.
A little bit inconsistent for my liking, but yeah, he's just been insane this year. And that offense, I can't wait for this weekend against the Dolphins. What
do you think is going to happen in that game against the Dolphins?
I think I saw the totals already mid-50s, 54.5 or so. So hopefully it's a points bonanza, but it's also 1 o'clock. I don't know. I wish it was that night.
I think the Bills are going to smash them.
That wouldn't surprise me. The Bills if the Bills stay healthy, they could maybe lose 2 games total.
Maybe. They just look incredible to me. Right now, they look unstoppable. We'll see what happens. I know it's early. I know a lot can change. Jerry Jeudy, shoulder injury, ribs injury. He's not practicing on Wednesday. I don't believe he practiced on Thursday either. So don't count on seeing Jeudy in the game. Denver certainly, doesn't need any more bad news, but it looks like he probably won't be playing this week. Michael Pittman did practice on Thursday. Speaking of terrible and disappointing teams, the Colts really, really, really suck, huh?
Shocked. I thought they'd be very good with Matt Ryan this year.
Did you really?
Yeah. I thought they were pretty. I thought they were pretty good last year, and they're missing their quarterback. And I thought they would be a shoo-in for the playoffs, especially in that awful division.
I thought maybe because of just how bad the division was, I thought they could possibly sneak in because it's who are you going to actually pounce on and endorse in that division? They're all just terrible, but just awful. Ryan's stat line 16 for 33 picks last week for 130 yards. That's just.
Wolf and I just kept touting Paris Campbell last week and got one target, I think it was.
Yeah, that's kind of like when I was talking up Taysom Hill and David just said it was a mush pick, which he was not wrong about. Giants coach Brian DeBoll said Wan'Dale Robinson knee issue this is a direct quote, getting better.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I have to say. That's the MVP of the Giants training camp. Moving on to tight ends. George Kittle's groin. We've been talking about it all season. And why not talk about it in week 3? He was limited in Wednesday's practice, limited in Thursday's practice. Those groin issues do tend to linger. And George Kittle is no exception to that rule. So I don't know. I've talked about how I think that the 49ers are going to be a better team with Jimmy G under center than Trey Lance. Even though, I don't take any pleasure in the fact that Trey Lance is out for the year. But I consider the Niners a pretty dangerous team. Don't know if Kittle will be back this week. Obviously, if and when he comes back, he's a big part of that. And last but not least, Dawson Knox, foot issue. He was limited in practice on Thursday, which is an upgrade from Wednesday when he did not practice at all. Anybody in that Bills offense that gets significant snaps, obviously a threat in fantasy.
I don't know, though. I have him in 2 leagues, and he's done absolutely nothing for me.
That's true. That's true. I said that because it sounded good, but the facts don't actually.
So wait, while we're on tight end, I was thinking this.
Go ahead.
I feel like next year, fantasy should take out the tight end spot and just have a receiver tight end flex. It's so bad, and it's like the guys like Kelsey, Andrews, like those guys all run in the slot and whatever. They're basically receivers. So why not just take out the tight end spot and do a flex? Because they all suck, except for like 3 of them.
I got no problem with that. And just talking about tight ends right now, it's just like all of a sudden my mood kind of changed. And I was like, why am I like so irritated now when CJay started talking about tight ends sucking? Can you just give me 30 seconds? What are your thoughts on Kyle Pitts?
Oh,
because I'm just I'm just enraged even thinking about the guy. I'm so angry.
And then I love their coach is just such a fucking hardo. He's like, oh, I'm not here to play fantasy football. I'm here to win games. Well, don't you think when your team only has Drake London and basically no one else, why aren't you? That's how you win games is by
you're also not winning games.
Exactly.
Like when you don't win games, you're look, I'm here to win games. I know, but you're
so
not
give
doing
the ball
that
to your best player.
Right. So like at least like pump up my fantasy numbers. Like if you're just gonna go 0-15 or whatever anyway. I'm so irritated with this guy. Like
do you see any bounce back on the horizon or
no? I mean, I don't know. It's like how long the Wolf's been talking about how we give this guy a hall pass forever. And it's true. Like, he was underwhelming last year. This year he's done absolutely nothing. I don't see like oh man, like I don't see it. So, if it happens and it happens again, then maybe there's some point where I'll be like, okay, Kyle Pitts is the real deal. But no, I'm off the train.
See,
completely.
but then this is what I think. Well, obviously you spend either a lot of money in your auction or you spend a 3rd round pick, 4th
$20, $20 bucks, which I thought was a steal.
So how I think of it is that kind of why I don't want a tight end position is what are you going to do? Bench him and add like Hayden Hurst? Like that's my point. That's why the tight end position is terrible.
This is how badly I hate him. Because I wanted to bench him, and I looked at what was there, and I was like, I can't bench him. So he's still in my lineup. It's like
that's how I am with Dawson Knox. I just said nothing else. It's like, what else am I gonna do?
Right. It's like if I were running a company and like a guy, let's say I was running the Boston Celtics, and like my head coach slept with my wife or something like that, and I was like, I got to get rid of this guy. I'm so mad. But then I looked at who was out there, and it was like, there was like Urban Meyer was the only guy out there. And so I'm going to keep the guy as coach, but I'm looking at him every day coaching the team. I'm looking at Kyle Pitts in my lineup right now as we speak, and I'm just filled with rage. Anyway, that's my tight end rant of the week. Tell us what you think. We're going to get into this, our Thursday night Thursday night football pick'em on Instagram and Facebook. CJay, what are the 5 things you got to pick, get right, and what can you get for your trouble?
Yeah, so it just posted at 7:30 on our Instagram page and on Facebook, as you just said. Tag 3 people, get a premium, which we don't really have much premium left until the store opens, which may never open at this point. But if you pick all 5 matchups correctly, you should know by now if you're watching the show. You win a free Roto Shoot t-shirt, tag 3 friends, get a premium upgrade, or we'll give you like a fake gift card to the store. So
Right. And those fake gift cards are non-transferable, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. So tonight we're going. It's good. Obviously disgusting. We start with the quarterbacks. Trubisky against Brissett.
Okay.
Where would you go with that one?
Wow. Probably Trubisky. No, probably Brissett. Probably Brissett. He's going to throw a little. He's going to throw a little more.
And then Amari and Deontay, the only two like actual football players that are.
I'm going to go Amari.
I'd probably go with you there. And then Claypool and Freiermuth.
Wow, we're just getting into the dregs here, huh? Freiermuth.
And then the two defenses, of course. Honestly, I should have just done like the kickers, the defense, the quarterbacks, and that's it.
I'm picking the Browns defense.
And then this one's a little competitive. Najee, who sucks, but against Chubb and Hunt. So pick one of those three.
I mean Chubb, I guess.
Yeah, why not?
We'll see.
So yeah, go visit our Instagram, Facebook. You'll see it and win some t-shirts.
Kickoffs in half an hour. Get it in. Yeah, they're good looking shirts. All right, let's get into the mailbag. We got 30, 40 questions, which is nice. But before we do that, you want to add David to the stream? He's been waiting for like an hour.
Yeah, why not?
All right, Dave.
Oh, wait.
Where are you?
How do I do this?
There he is.
What's going on?
Look at me. It's like I just got a promotion all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, and CJay getting moved up to the Thursday night lineup. Wow.
Hey, Wolves on short-term IR this week. Someone's got to fill in. So
no, I get it. Big. Hopefully he gets well soon so he could come back and lead us all on.
He's texting me right now. He's watching. So we're trying to get him in, but we didn't want to upset his roommates, his new roommates.
So no, this was more just to keep the streak alive. But
okay.
Truth, if you have to basically mush one guy this week, who we picking and why?
If I had to mush one guy, like pump him
basically
up.
Like you did to Taysom Hill last week.
Well, gosh, I want to say Allen Robinson just because I want him. Just personally, I want him to do so well. But I have to admit my enthusiasm is waning just a little bit for him, and I feel terrible about it. I'm not going to lie to you about something since you asked me about that. I seriously considered picking Taysom Hill up off waivers and replacing Kyle Pitts with him. I really did. And I was trying to talk myself into it, and I was hearing your voice in the back of my head just being like, don't do it, man. Don't be an idiot. CJay, if you could lean on one guy, who's one guy in fantasy this week that you just love? Like you just think he's going to absolutely explode?
Oh my God.
One guy.
Trying to think if I have anyone on my roster. Oh wait, who I want? Let's go with your guy, Kyle Pitts.
Oh really? He's the guy I'm gonna face. He was my answer for the other side of that question. So anyway, I don't know. That's what I got, Dave.
I appreciate it.
The streak is alive.
We may have a special caller. So we
do. Well, Dave, I'm gonna bring the wolf on. Thanks for calling, and we'll get to your other questions if you got any in the comments section.
Hey, should we actually do for the prize tonight? We won't do a Roto-Tree shirt. We'll go Wolf's gown.
Yeah, or the Wolf signed IV bag. or how about just the Wolf's appendix?
The Wolf's appendix in a bottle.
Yeah, look at that. Wolf, how you
doing? What's going on? Prize appendix, just for the prize listeners here. For sure. I love that idea. Biggest trophy you can give out for your fantasy leagues, my appendix. Love it.
The Wolf's appendix.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Not much. You've been watching the show?
Oh, yeah. Great stuff. Although, did we get the ad read in?
Yeah, we did. I read it.
Excellent. Oh, hell yeah. You boys are great. Awesome.
Yeah, we're good.
Awesome. Well, welcome. Thanks for having me on. First time, long time. Really appreciate it.
Do you have any anything? I know you only probably got a few minutes to hang and share with us. Is there anything that you just like want to say, you want to get out there? Any take you have on anybody you want to get on the show?
I actually think Kareem Hunt has a big night tonight. I don't know why. I'm just in my gut. When the appendix got removed, Kareem Hunt just came into the brain, and that's all that I can say. But no, if you want to pull up some questions, Truth, I got about 5-10 minutes. I'll hit up you with you boys right now.
Okay, let's do it. First,
I'm sure your new roommates are going to appreciate this.
Yeah. Tunes.
Exactly.
Tunes wants to know Gabe Davis, CeeDee Lamb, Hollywood Brown, Deontay Johnson. Sit one of them.
I'm sitting Deontay. I don't love anybody's upside with Trubisky. Although I could see this being Kenny Pickett night. It's the one other take I had for tonight. I think Pickett comes in by the second half and makes this offense a whole lot better.
Also, if you said CeeDee Lamb, I wouldn't have hated that pick either.
No, I'm with you.
All right, David, who was just on, kept his consecutive game streak going. Sending out a huge get well soon to the Wolf. Need our fearless leader back at the helm at 100%. We don't need him 100%. Even at
nobody wants 100% Wolf. No, that's a scary sight. But
no. Crustgator 18, Flex, Hunt, Zeke, Samuel, or Walker the third.
I think this is my man Brian Lewin. What's going on? The Crusaders are crushing it this year. I just mentioned Hunt. I really like Hunt. I also do like Curtis Samuel a lot, so I'd limit to those two. What do you guys think?
What do you think, CJ?
Zeke. I don't know. If Wolf, I feel like I'm going to go with Wolf's painkillers tonight and go with Hunt.
Yeah, he is on good.
It's opening his brain.
Hospital grade.
You need to throw in like a Millie Thursday night football tonight, and you may hit it.
Yeah, do another best ball. Sup, fellas? Pick one, wide receiver 2 flex. A-Rob, Gabe Davis, Etienne, Carter, Sanders, or Jordan Mason if he ends up starting. I don't think he will. You got one of those for your wide receiver 2?
I would go Gabe Davis, always daddy. And I'm going to stick with our boy A-Rob. Got involved. Arizona's a terrible defense. I'm all in. I like this going to be a shootout game, so let's attack it.
Those are the two I would be picking also. Andre says, are we going to see Kenny Pickett tonight?
Wow.
As predicted, second half, he takes over, leads them to a win.
I predict no. That's like I'm betting the under. Jeremiah Moore, started the year 2-0. I've got Najee going tonight. Gross. Although I won't be able to watch because of this stupid Prime sponsorship. The restaurant I work in can't stream it. Oh, Wolf, what was your experience with Prime? What did you think of the Prime broadcast?
Yeah, is Wolf going to be able to watch tonight?
I got my laptop here, so I'll be able to toss it on the Amazon Prime, yeah. So I'll be okay. But, yeah, I can see that being a huge pain for restaurants, bars. It's pretty shitty.
Yeah, that is pretty shitty. Salsa Contito. Should I go for Michael Thomas, Mike Williams, or Courtland Sutton as a starting wide receiver? Those are all pretty good choices. I have Kirk as a starter and Deontay Johnson as my flex. I do have Mike Evans, but he's suspended. I'm not 100% sure. Who do you like best out of Mike Thomas, Mike Williams, or Courtland Sutton? Because I kind of feel like I like two of those guys more than Deontay Johnson.
Exactly what I was going to say. I'd probably rather have all three of those guys other than Deontay.
Yeah.
With Mike Williams and Sutton being my personal favorites, but I'd take any of those three. And I do agree with Kirk being a lock. I love Christian Kirk right now. He is just rolling. But give me Sutton, give me Mike Williams.
Mike Thomas, I believe he's the wide receiver 10 right now in all of fantasy, so don't sleep on Mike Thomas.
I mean, he's damn good too, yeah. I think Deontay's my least favorite of all these guys.
Me too. Out of all those guys, probably mine too. By the way, I know you know this probably, but wide receiver 3 in fantasy right now, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Our guy. We hyped him up big for good reason.
We did hype him up big. Y2J29, start Freiermuth over Kyle Pitts tonight. You're speaking my language, buddy. What do you think, Wolf?
I heard you guys rant. I
that was
thought
mostly just me ranting. It was mostly
was perfect though, because Pitts is that worst type of fantasy player that's so much sex appeal that you can't bench him. But he's just, I don't know. I can't bench him. I'm playing Kyle Pitts.
So you're going Pitts.
Is this one of those what's it called, squeaky tire weeks?
I think it is. I think, it's not about our fantasy owners, Arthur Smith, absolute moron. I think this is the week it comes to fruition.
Kyle wants to know PPR, Hunt or Brandon Cooks in the flex? I have Chubb starting.
I'm going Brandon Cooks. He's steady. He's just so safe. And I do think it's a big night for Hunt, but having both Hunt and Chubb is, I don't like that.
No, that's dirty. London Kutcher, would you all start Drake London or Deontay Johnson this week?
I like Drake London. I mean, this guy's a stud, don't you think?
What do you think, CJ?
Yeah, I'm starting Drake London over Thielen this week, and I feel good about it. So I think Thielen and Deontay Johnson this week are on the same, so I'll go with Drake London.
DJ Johnson, I need 2 half-point PPR. Ayuk, Garrett Wilson, Claypool, or Olave?
Me personally, I'm going Ayuk and Garrett Wilson. I'm going the first two. Even though Olave did just have 365 air yards or something insane. Remember we talked about that, Nat?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
I also like Ayuk and Garrett Wilson, and I cannot believe I'm saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This could be the last good week for Garrett Wilson, so you got to make do of it.
Right,
There's a-
yeah, when Zach Wilson comes back.
Comment from Nick Trigoff. Look at these sexy boys. No
Who's
kidding.
that guy? Who's that loser?
Steven Hernandez. Who to start at flex? Garrett Wilson, Curtis Samuel, Jeff Wilson, or Adam
Wow.
Thielen? Adam Thielen,
That's
who,
a
by
really
the
good
way,
one.
I recommended to somebody that they play. Someone I hadn't talked to in a while. He asked me a fantasy question, and I was like, I'd lean towards Thielen. And I don't think he was like targeted. Maybe he was targeted one time in the game. So I probably won't be hearing from that guy anytime soon. Again,
Oh, man.
who do you like at flex? Wilson, Samuel, Wilson, or Thielen?
This is a really tough one, but I'm going to go with Jeff Wilson. I just think he might get like 20 carries. You know I'm obsessed with him, but the Garrett Wilson upside is so real that it's so hard to bench too. So I really struggle with this one.
Yeah, but Zach, what's his name's coming back soon, so that's going to end. Zach Wilson.
Maybe your last Garrett Wilson weekend. Yeah, what do you boys think?
I'm partial because I own Jeff Wilson, and so I want it to be him. But it's definitely between him and Garrett Wilson. What do you
I
think?
don't even think Samuel's that far behind Wilson, though. He's getting pumped with targets.
No, I love Samuel too. Yeah, and Thielen gets Detroit. Like all of these guys are great options.
I know. I'm benching Thielen. He's going to go off this
Yeah,
week.
Thielen's
So
my fourth.
Right.
choice.
This is his 2-touchdown week. Classic.
Yeah, I usually, when it's things like this, I usually do side with the running back, even though I do hate him. But
Yeah.
I'll go with you, Will.
I'll do one more, then I got to run, boys. But this is fun.
Okay.
Thank you guys for having me on.
All right, Kareem Hunt or Miles Sanders? I'm assuming you're definitely going Hunt.
Oh, Kareem Hunt night, baby, all day.
We're letting you go on a softball, and then
All
of
right.
course the Wolves comment. My boys watching live from Beverly Hospital.
Here
Wishing
we
you the
are.
best. I hope you're here for our Sunday show.
Oh yeah, I should be out tomorrow. That's the plan, the goal, the hope. So we'll see. Fingers
All right,
crossed. But thank you
Write
guys.
Hang in there.
write the No House Advantage promo code on the chalkboard next to you. The
Yeah.
driver.
my roommates will take it. Yeah, exactly. Awesome.
See you
Well,
later.
thanks, you guys. Yeah, absolutely. Heading 12 down the fort. Wolfpack, best of luck. Thanks for still tuning in. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out. You know I got to promote it. You guys are the best. Thank you, guys.
All right, going back to a double screen there. The Wolf. That's our first ever live feed from a hospital.
That's true. I know we've had not live feeds. We've had messages from Australia. Actually, our guy Jackson got an email from Hungary this week about his trade track.
Nate Shaw did a show with me and the Wolf years ago from the Mall of America in Minneapolis. So we
Australia, Mall America, same thing.
right. Here we go. Jay Kirchaville. Who could I trade DJ Moore and Cordero for at wide receiver? So in a vacuum, I have no idea how to answer this question. I will say that our guy Jackson does an awesome trade value chart on rotorstreetjournal.com. So at the risk of kicking the can down the road, that's probably where I would refer you for that, unless you have a thought, CJ.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not. Trade questions are tough for me because you don't know without the roster. I get them I run our Instagram account, so I get the DMs all the time. But should I trade blah blah? And I get 500 pictures and whatever else.
I'm always like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Check out roadstreetjournal.com and look at the trade value stuff Jackson does. It'd probably give you a better answer.
It updates every week, so it's good stuff there.
Martin Broadhurst, should I start Wilson or Tua this week or stream Wentz or Goff? Thanks.
Yeah, how do you feel about Tua facing a real defense this week?
I'm skeptical. I'm not going to lie. I mean, look, they've done some amazing things. Like the numbers that his wide receivers are putting up are amazing, but I'm skeptical. What about you?
Yeah, but I feel like it could shoot out a little bit, and then with Waddle and Tyreek, like those guys can catch a 5-yard slant and go to the house. So it's not like he needs to like be really that accurate. Needs to really do much.
I would start Tua over Wilson, certainly.
Yeah. This week I'd definitely go Tua. I think he's 2 or 3 spots ahead too on Wolves rankings.
And you would feel like such an idiot if he put up 40 again and you just didn't start him. Broderick, Forcier, Burrow or Stafford? First of all,
I'm gonna ride with Stafford again.
All right, flex Zeke, Pollard, or Patterson. Yuck.
Zeke, Pollard, Patterson.
Zeke.
I just hate when people have running backs on the same team because I feel like you're gonna pick the wrong one every week.
It's a bad idea.
I'm gonna go with a hot hand there too and go with Pollard.
Okay. Denny Jennings, what's up, boys? If Zach Milf Wilson comes back, will that be better for Elijah Moore? I mean, I doubt it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Elijah Moore did ball with him a little bit down the end of last season, but honestly, I have no idea. I do love that. Remember the beginning of the season, Garrett Wilson did say that he likes Flacco's ball better than Zach Wilson's. So maybe he will start throwing to Elijah Moore.
I do remember that.
Know.
Droid 209, pick 2 for the flex. Devin Duvernay, Bateman, Tony Pollard, J.K. Dobbins, and Russell Gage. Yuck. Pick 2 of those guys. Pollard, I'm assuming.
I'm not touching J.K. until – actually, I don't even know if he's in the play this week, but I'm not touching J.K. until we actually see him in a game and doing something. Russell Gage, yeah, I'd probably go Bateman and – let's go Bateman and Pollard. Actually, yeah. I kind of like Gage, though. He's maybe the only receiver that is like a real receiver. So.
Okay. Grind don't stop. I need a strong flex pick. Pick 1. Hunt, Breece Hall, or Olave PPR. Well, I'm going to speak for the Wolf on this, and I'm going to say Hunt. I'm sure that's what he would say.
Yeah, I'll roll with you there.
All right. Let's see. Droid 209. Pitts or Everett? Man, people are just trying to get me worked up, CJ. Pitts or Gerald Everett? What do you think?
Pitts week. Pitts.
I would honestly, I might go Everett, buddy.
Honestly, Everett's more safe. If you need 8 to 10 points, I'd probably pick Everett. But if you think you're like this huge underdog, then I'd go Pitts. And
if you want, if you want 8 to 10 points, go Everett. If you want 3 to 4 points, go Pitts. Charlie Manalockets, on a scale of 1 to 10, where's your panic meter on Chase Edmonds? I'm holding on to hope. Where's yours?
Last week was really scary. I own him in way too many leagues, and so do my friends because I talked about way too much. Told them to keep going ETN and Edmonds in the mid rounds, and that's not looking great. I don't know. It seems like a Shanahan type thing in Miami, so it could be Edmonds week this week. Like, who the hell knows? So I'm not like a 5.5, 6, I guess.
Okay, like you understand why people are.
Yeah, but I'm personally not that worried about it. Maybe I'm just optimistic.
Grind don't stop. Is the Saints defense going to bounce back against the Panthers?
Sure. Yes.
This is from the Wolf. Diggs averaging more fantasy points per game than Kupp this year, and Kupp is averaging more than he did last year. That's nuts.
Those two are insane.
Yeah, those two and a bunch of other people too. Good Lord.
See, the thing about Josh Allen that's crazy to me too is that he's improved so much since last year. Like now that he's running, he's run so confidently that it's nuts. Like obviously he was always tough and he ran people over, but now it's like he doesn't hesitate at all.
And he
it's
gets the ball
when he decides to run, he just wants to run, or he just finds someone.
And he gets the ball out so quick when he drops back. Denny Jennings, I'm hoping for a high-scoring game between the Bills and the Dolphins. I have Diggs, Hill, and Tua. Jesus.
Yeah, that would be ideal.
I'll bet you are. Freiermuth or Logan?
Let's go Logan Thomas.
Fatty Mateo, full PPR. I need a wide receiver 2 and a flex. Starting DK and Garrett Wilson. Keep him out. Lockett, Michael Carter, or Breece.
So what is this, bench 1?
Yeah, between Lockett, Carter, and Breece. You 2 guys on the same team again, CJ.
I think I'm gonna bench the heartbeat of the Jets offense.
Fatty Mateo, you got a lot of Jets, man.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I don't know if that's a recipe for success. I mean, it has been so far, but maybe not in the future. I think I'm gonna bench Mike Carter.
Howland says one more full PPR. Gabe Davis or London?
Wow. Yeah, I guess you're benching London. I can't bench Gabe if he's healthy.
No, you can't. DJ Johnson. I also have Pitts, and he fucking sucks. Yeah, man. No kidding. Brock Hathaway, am I starting Freiermuth or Kittle this week? The groin issue is unclear. Wait, let's assume Kittle's playing. Who would you start?
Well, the thing is that you can't assume anything because Freiermuth's playing tonight.
That's a great point. Who you starting, Freiermuth or Kittle? I'm starting Freiermuth.
Yeah, I'm taking it safe this week, even with Jimmy. I mean, Kittle could blow up, but I'm being cautious with that. Mitch
Chavez. Nice to see Mitch in the mix. I haven't seen Mitch the last couple of shows that I've done, but I'm glad he's in here. Oh, wow. LOL, Sir Wolf. Yeah, the Wolf's laid up, but he's going to be fine, Mitch. And it's good to see you again in the comment section. Denny Jennings, get better, Wolf. I'm drinking a 6-pack of Oktoberfest tonight for you. Yeah, this is the great thing about having a good buddy in the hospital is that it excuses any behavior that I could do tonight. Like I could be like, yeah, I'm going to do an 8-ball tonight for the Wolf. but it's like really,
Sure.
I just wanted to just get
Your wife's like,
gagged out of my mind, right?
your wife's like, why'd you like walk into the fridge last night? Oh, I don't know. My buddy's in the hospital.
No, my buddy's in the hospital. I'm having a hard time. That's why I drank like 6 bottles of wine.
Hey, no one knows the hospital more than Danny Jennings.
That's true. Shit, that's a great
Very
point.
true.
Sam Bowder, Claypool or Nico Collins?
Claypool.
Grind, don't stop. Thanks, Wolf, for calling in. Hope you're doing well. I think I'm going to go with Hunt as a strong flex this week. Listening to the Wolf. How are we feeling about Logan Thomas this week, PPR? You like Thomas?
I do, because I think all the tight ends suck.
Right.
But it's crazy to me that Wentz can create like four players that are fantasy relevant. Our waiver article the last 2 weeks have just been full of Commanders.
Yeah. John Cole, hey dudes, half PPR, pick 3. Deontay Johnson, Brandon Cooks, Bateman, London, Garrett Wilson, Curtis Samuel. Pick 3 of those, CJ.
Sorry, I was reading one of the comments. Deandre Johnson, 1, 2, 3, 4. I hate these pick 3 things. Let's go Bateman, London, Garrett Wilson.
Yeah,
right?
I think I like that too. Johnny Lau says Kyle Pitts or appendicitis. Like if it's just your basic appendicitis, Johnny, I'm taking the appendicitis. If it's like, really bad and it like ruptures inside you or something like that, then I'll stomach it and I'll take Pitts.
Yeah, but if you catch it in time, you get a little hospital stay, some hospital socks, which are unbelievable.
Yeah. Right. Assuming you
bottle of painkillers, not bad. Not a bad time.
Yeah. So it's a close call, Johnny. Grind don't stop. Amon-Ra St. Brown, baby. League winner. Love this player. I still feel like he's underrated. I agree with you, but he's not going to be for long. I think he's just going to keep putting up.
Did you see his quote this week about Diami Brown on the Commanders?
No. What did he say?
He said that he was picked right before Amon-Ra. And so Amon-Ra said that he was trying to find him on the sideline. He's like, it's easy to find him because he was sitting there the entire time.
There's so much grudge, like the Justin Jefferson, Jalen Reagor thing. Like it's just people just get so pissed about that. Grind don't stop. Better chance to outscore Hunt as a flex. Dotson, Brees Hall, Olave, or Ayuk. PPR.
Honestly, I like Ayuk. I like
Dotson's a touchdown machine, man.
Yeah, I feel like that may run. His targets are only. I don't think he's ever had over 5 targets in a game now. Yeah. I think maybe Ayuk and maybe Dotson, but that's about it.
I would lean Ayuk. Grind don't stop. Get well, Wolf. And he says, Truth, how are you feeling about your matchup this week? Well, I got 2. I'm favored by the computer in both of them, but I just feel like my teams have both been really underwhelming, and I don't really have faith in anybody. Like the good side is you could say for both of my teams, I haven't really blown up yet. And, you wait for that. But the bad part is like I might just have a team that's not going to blow up because they're not very good. So I'm cautiously optimistic, but I don't love either team I have. But thank you for asking. Fatty Mateo, I need an RB2, full PPR. Aaron Jones is my RB1. I got CEH, Dillon, Mike Carter, and Brees.
See, this is again. So he has Jones and Dillon.
And Dillon.
And then he has Mike Carter and Brees. Why did they draft to handcuff their Jets running backs?
Well, especially when they're guys that kind of split the carries,
See, but with the Packers, I like them so much that I don't mind them because Jones is catching so many balls. Dillon's the goal line back, so they have like a good thing going there.
I would probably lean CEH here.
He's been hot recently. Just ride the hot hand.
Yeah. What do you think? Same?
Yeah.
All right. Grind don't stop. When will Brees Hall take over as the lead back in New York?
I think, I'm not sure off the top of my head. Wolf's a dictionary in his head. Just remembers every single stat ever. It's analytic brain.
It is.
I want to say that Brees had more carries last week. I'm not sure, but I feel like it could happen very soon, the next few weeks.
Jeremiah Moore, start 2. Kamara, Najee, Bateman, Jeff Wilson. Whew.
I got to start Kamara. I'm benching Najee, and I'm Jeff Wilson over Bateman.
I'm probably going Kamara and Wilson. Can't believe I'm saying it. God,
yeah,
Harris
I agree.
Is such a disappointment. The Wolf says hospital socks are phenomenal. I could confirm. Denny Jennings says Wentz to Slay coming to you Sunday. Let's go Birds. Thanks, boys, and cheers. DJ Johnson.
I was gonna say this is gonna be a good year for Denny. His Eagles look real.
Yeah, they do. And speaking of crappy divisions, they're in one. DJ Johnson, wow, from the hospital bed. What a bed. What a beast. Get well soon, Nick. And last but not least, the Wolf. Thumbs up, chat. These boys are crushing it. Thank you so much for saying so, Wolf, and everybody that hung around with us and tuned in for the, A, leading into a pretty lousy Thursday night show. B, me and CJ going together for the first time, which, by the way, I thought went pretty well. Good job, CJ. And Wolf, we're coming in from the hospital. We really appreciate it. Make sure that you're
sure had everything.
Yeah, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Click like crazy on our website so we can get 1 million views this month. Seems like
we honestly, I think
might be there
if I were
by
to
now.
look, we might be there right by now. But
Well,
also
get us
no house advantage. Promo code RSJ, please.
Yeah.
We need that. So
Give us 1.1 million views. Last question, Eric L. Smith. I traded Chubb and Godwin for Najee and Herbert. What do you think?
all right, see if we hit a milli. Traded Chubb and Godwin for Naji and Herbert. I don't know. I mean, I don't love quarterbacks, so I don't really value Herbert as much as other people. But if you maybe have a 6-point pass touchdown league, Najee just makes me puke.
Well, there you go, folks.
That's all I can say.
There you have it. In a world full of fantasy sheep, be the wolf. Although he's not here, you still should be him. Rose Street Journal, we feed and breed fantasy wolves. I'm the truth.
I'm CJay.
See you guys later. Enjoy the crappy ass game that's about to be on. Talk to you later.
See ya.